Alright everybody, Miss Stewart here, and what I want to do during this orientation module is I want to get you thinking in a little bit different way. So we're going to do a quick little activity called the Game of Life. Now, the whole purpose in this activity, like I mentioned, is to get you to start thinking in a different way, but it's also to start a conversation. There are going to be topics in this semester just simply because of this particular idea of social determinants that can be very personal, that can be very emotional, and that is okay to share those things. It's okay to start conversation as long as we do it in a respectful way and that we listen to each other. So we're going to do a little activity here, what I call the Game of Life, to start that. So what I want you to do is to pick a color, whichever color stood out to you. That's going to be your puzzle piece. And so just sort of keep that in the back of your mind as to which color you picked. Maybe write it down off to the side so that you're not likely to sway back and forth. But I just want you to pick a color, and whichever color stands out to you. And I'm going to give you some descriptors about that color. Okay, so if you picked green, you are an individual that lives in a 2-bedroom leased apartment with a family of 5, no spouse. You are a retired grandparent with 3 children. You did go to school but did not finish high school because that first child was born. So you had to drop out of high school because you had your first child coming along the way. If you picked orange, you are someone who lives in a 3-bedroom condo all by yourself. You do have a high school diploma, but you did not go to college. And if you picked red, you live in a 4-bedroom house. You do have a family, so it's yourself, your spouse, and 3 children. You do have a high school diploma, and you do have some college. So now here's what happens. All 3 of these individuals are living their life, and then all of a sudden, due to the economic crisis, at the same time, all 3 of you lose your job. And also at the same time, all 3 of you had to go in for surgery to remove your appendix due to appendicitis. And so that's where we are. All 3 have lost their jobs, and all 3 have to go in for a medical procedure. So now, those of you that picked green, you have no insurance because you had not filed for Medicaid, which is when you are below a certain poverty level, you can apply for Medicaid, which is a government-assisted insurance program. You lose your apartment and you're forced into public housing. And you remain in public housing, and unfortunately one of your children falls victim to a violent crime in the neighborhood. Now if you're orange, you have no insurance at all because you do not meet the poverty level of Medicaid. You lose the condo, and unfortunately you are now homeless. But then eventually you pick up a managerial job somewhere, and then you're able to afford to live in an apartment. And those of you that picked red, you are covered by Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is private insurance. You're fortunate enough to be married to someone who does have a job and can provide financial support to the household while you continue to look for a job that is comparable. So you're not really forced into taking a job, but you're looking for a job that's comparable to your previous job, again, while your spouse provides that financial support for the home. So here's what I want you to do to get to thinking about something that's a little different. Inside this orientation module, there is a discussion board titled Post Game of Life. And so what I want you to do is I want you to give us your opinion based on the piece that you picked and the issues that came out of the other 2. What happened to each person as they went through the exact same issues, and how did it, in your opinion, affect their health? And can you sort of see that relationship between education, environment, social support, and finances when it comes to your health? And what is that connection? So what is that relationship that you see? So again, this is not a graded board, but it is one you need to complete for attendance for this particular course to stay enrolled in this course. And just give us your overall opinion about the activity and what you noticed about these different scenarios.